It's difficult to overstate the importance of energy to America's success. Abundant, affordable energy is arguably the single most important factor to enabling our prosperity, from our health and wellness to our national and economic security. Technology development impacts all components of a healthy, developed energy system, including exploration and production, transportation, and consumption. By providing the private market with the tools to innovate, our energy system can add new technologies to reliably provide affordable and abundant energy. Last week, the Institute for Energy Research reported that increasing access to energy development would, in addition to growing GDP by $127 billion annually, increase federal revenues by $24 billion annually for the next 7 years and $86 billion per year thereafter. Most of the options we have to address the budget crisis, cutting spending and increasing taxes, are difficult to achieve. Increasing energy production should be easy to achieve. Our great energy story here in the U.S. has not gone unnoticed around the world. The German economic minister recently expressed concern that German firms are relocating to the U.S. primarily due to lower energy prices. While President Obama often cites European energy policies as a model he would like to follow in the U.S., statements such as these should provide a powerful reminder of the importance of affordable energy to our global economic competitiveness. Mr. Szymanski, I'd like to talk a little bit about coal and the technology improvements in that sector sometimes are overlooked. And I'd like to ask, slide up. They knew I was going to ask some questions about this slide or make some points about this slide. If you look at the two gigantic dots in red, those are China and India, and those are proposed global coal-fired plants. And then the U.S.'s dot is on the far left in the middle of the screen, obviously way smaller than what we're seeing in China and India. Also smaller than what we're seeing in Vietnam, in Turkey, and so global demand and global growth in coal-fired power plants is going to, I believe, necessitate continued research and development of increasingly clean coal, and so I want to kind of focus on that for a minute. Mr. Szymanski, what are EIA's projections on coal export trends to meet this growing global demand? As you know, coal consumption in China grew more than 9%, and that I know you recently reported that China consumes nearly as much coal as the rest of the world combined. So going forward with China and India installing over 500,000 megawatts of coal generation, more than 25 times what's planned for the U.S., we've got this huge coal resource available for export to those countries, and we can also export our technology for them to burn it cleaner and more efficiently. So what do you see as the global demand, and what does this mean for jobs in the economy? Also want to know what you see as barriers to increasing coal exports.
Madam Chairman, we have coal demand growing very rapidly outside of the developed countries, so outside of the OECD. This accounts for, I think, the largest portion of growth in energy on a global basis. A lot of that, as you point out in your slide, is in China and India. For the United States, because we have electricity growth only increasing at less than 1% a year, 0.9% per year, the opportunities for almost any fuel going into the electricity markets are going to be somewhat limited in the U.S. The competition between natural gas and coal, basically on a price basis, has been moving more natural gas into electricity generation. In EIA's forecasts out to 2040, we have the use of coal in the U.S. actually going up slightly in terms of tons. Although coal's market share is reduced somewhat as natural gas and renewables increase their market share, the actual amount of coal being used grows slightly. And the reason that we see that in the U.S. is that there are a number of relatively new, cleaner plants that are running at below their capacity utilization factors. And even with retirements of our older plants, we will see those utilization factors come up if we're correct in our assumption that natural gas prices rise over time, creating a better competitive atmosphere for coal.
With our great thanks, the witnesses are excused, and this hearing is adjourned.